Jay-Z really might be our next rapper turned supervillain. Let's talk about it. For those that don't know, I made a video that's going viral right now about Pharrell and his homeboy Chad Hugo and how they had a whole dispute and how Pharrell's low-key a supervillain, right? But a lot of people in the comments was like, hold on, look into Jay-Z. You see, I low-key already knew about Jay-Z and his antics, you know. Throw up your triangles. But the story between these two really put things on a whole different perspective. Let's get to it. Now, the backstory of how these two met is a little questionable, but it was said that Jay-Z couldn't find nobody to sign him. Literally in the 2001 interview with MTV, he said that no label wanted to sign him after the release of his debut project. Nobody thought he was good. Everybody thought he was doo-doo. Also keep in mind that Jay-Z was a street rapper and the labels had reasonable doubt. But see, Dame and Jay had a common idea of becoming bigger and better than the major companies and pretty much just treating artists better, right? Kind of ironic though. Facts. So with that mindset, Jay and Dame decided, let's go ahead and create a record label. If you're wondering who this is right here, this is Biggs. Now, he's not that important in this story, but he's an important person. My Biggs brother was Biggs' brother. If you know, you know. How this worked was Jay-Z was gonna be the main rapper for the label and he had sole proprietorship. Dame Dash was gonna be Jay-Z's manager and pretty much manage his music while Biggs was gonna sit as like a partner. Something to mention too is that though no label wanted to sign Jay-Z, reasonable doubt was still popping in the streets and it was actually gaining more traction as Jay-Z and them created Roc-a-fella. Following this up, Jay-Z had released his Hard Knock Life project, which became one of his biggest projects, and Dame Dash was like, hold on, you gotta go on tour. That tour was a Hard Knock Life tour, and that had Method Man, Redman, and DMX. If you didn't know, this is the same tour where Jay-Z seen DMX perform for the first time and was just like, wow, I gotta do better than it. I got a video about it on my page if you want that full backstory. This tour actually became the first hip-hop tour to gross $18 million. And with all that power and money and fame, only one thing can ruin this. Guess what it is? He got a big ego. So if you remember the breakdown on the label, you know, Jay-Z being the sole artist, Dame Dash manages Jay-Z, right? See, Jay-Z took that role real serious to the point he was never in the office. That's at least what everybody at the label thought. But no, Jay-Z was out there making his own business deals. Because Jay wanted to be a star and only one person was capable of getting in the way. DMX, who was signed to Def Jam. Keep that in mind. So one day, Jay-Z overhears that Dame is planning on making Cameron or Benny Siegel the vice president of Roc-a-fella, which isn't in Jay-Z's plans. So Jay ended up doing this. Jay-Z looked at him and said, hold on. Did you forget that I am now the president of Def Jam Records? Oh yeah, and I sold 50% of Roc-a-fella. Dame Dash said, no you didn't. Jay-Z said, oh yeah, check your bank account. It's gonna be zero. Mind you, this is around the time that the College Dropout came out, so Dame Dash was in his pockets like, hold on. Let me see if I can hit up our artists and see if they'll just like sign with me instead. He called up Kanye. Kanye said, nah, I'm sticking with Jay. He called up Killer Cam. Killer Cam said, I'm going to Warner Bros. You should have warned her, bro. Facts. At that point, Dame had barely any artists to actually capitalize off of. So not only did Jay-Z sacrifice an entire label for this opportunity, he low-key also played a part in the downfall of DMX. You remember this story started off with Jay-Z and Dame wanting to help artists become bigger than the major labels. But it seems like Jay-Z had other plans. Let me know what you think down below.